Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Mormon Movie Reviews, where LDS movie lovers belong. My name is D-Bays, and today is October 20th, 2022, and this is episode 43, and we will be reviewing The Work and the Glory, released in 2004, with a running time of 118 minutes. This review works best if you've seen this film before, though that is not required, and this is your official spoiler alert. Now, this is not an official church film, but it was directed by Russell Holt, who brought us other official church films, such as The Lamb of God and How Rare a Possession. Now, let me give you your synopsis. Recently moved to upstate New York from the comfort of their Vermont homestead, the Benjamin Steed family makes their way to the established social structure of Palmyra. In their attempt to settle peacefully into the new community, they discover that the help that they have hired to clear their land is at the center of a religious controversy, a controversy that threatens to tear the family apart. As two of the Steed brothers contend for the favor of a wealthy merchant's daughter, they find themselves on opposite sides of the religious question. Although the family struggles to smooth the contention, they soon face deeper issues of family loyalty and pursuit of the truth. Now, here's Benjamin Steed on the right, who's purchasing a deed for his family farm here in Palmyra, upstate New York, 1820s. Now, Martin Harris, he's on the right, and he's a neighbor to the Steeds, and he suggests that they hire the honest, hardworking, and respected Smith brothers to help out. Marianne Steed soon joins her family in Palmyra, and they take Martin up on his advice and decide to contact the Smith family for help. Joshua, age 19, is the dark horse of the family. We also get to meet Lydia McBride, the daughter of the local general dry goods store proprietor and a beauty with long hair, black as ebony, and dark eyes, whose perfume drives Joshua Steed wild. He's in town to meet the Smith boys and pick up a few items at the store for his mother.
How may I help you, Mr. Steed?
Ha! Now, back at the farm, after getting in a few hours of work, Joshua, Nathan, and little Matthew enjoy the company of their new friends, the Smith brothers, by challenging Joseph Smith to a lively game of stick pulling, in which Joseph Smith prevails. Hail to the prophet! Nathan then gets his first introduction to Lydia McBride outside the store and is just as smitten as his brother was. I smell a love triangle, and I doubt that this is going to work out for everyone. Now, Joseph passes by and exchanges greetings while the local riffraff tease him about gold Bibles and angels. Nathan and Joshua are puzzled, but they don't end up saying anything. Now, back at the Steed farm, another day of hard work is put in, and Nathan walks Joseph and Hiram partway back to their own family farm. Curious about the taunting, he asks Joseph about it, and Joseph tells Nathan his story, which members of the church will immediately recognize as the first vision. Now, of course, there's no contemporaneous accounts of Joseph Smith telling the first vision to anyone at this time, but that's not going to stop the filmmakers. There's plenty of records about Joseph talking about buried treasure, just not theophanies.
I saw two personages.
Personages?
Yes, two beings. Their brightness and glory defy all description.
Now, meanwhile, Joshua, he joins the same riffraff trying to scheme and get Joseph Smith's gold from him. The town ruffians pass the elder Steed brother some booze, and Joshua is advised to stop associating with those evil Smith brothers. Now, happy Easter, Nathan finds his mother reading the Bible and wiping away tears. He tells her Joseph Smith's incredible story. She believes every word. Now, at breakfast, the family learns that Joshua never came home last night from the barn raising, and Benjamin is not happy. Joshua wakes up with a hangover, and Lydia stalls attending Easter church services with her parents because she's hoping to spend more time with Joshua. They admit their attraction to one another. Now, Joshua, he returns home the following morning, and he has a huge fight with Pa Steed over Joseph Smith and all of the rumors. Joshua declares that he's leaving home and storms out. Benjamin then says he's had enough of it. He goes and finds the Smith brothers, and he tells them that he no longer wants their help on their farm. They are more trouble than they are worth. Now, Mary, she's really worried about her oldest son. It's been several days now, and there's no word for him since the big falling out. So she sends Nathan into town to look for him. His search leads him to his aunt's house, where he comes upon a romantic scene of the solitary Lydia practicing her violin. They bond right away. However, Joshua interrupts them. He's a little annoyed at the little brother, but doesn't press the issue. He says he's thinking about coming home for a visit this Sunday. Now, Lydia later meets Joshua in secret, where they have a tense conversation over his estrangement from his family. Joshua has taken up residence in a seedy part of town, and Lydia is worried about his association with his friends, those troublemakers, the Murdoch brothers, whose company he's taken up with as well. Now, they end up sharing their first kiss before a knock on the door ends the scene. Lydia leaves, hoping her parents won't find out about this illicit relationship and ship her off to her Boston relatives. The following day, Nathan's off to town to make a purchase, which is the perfect excuse to visit his favorite dry goods store, where a certain lovely young clerk might wait upon him. Lydia is happy to see him, but Joshua also enters the store. There's two roosters in this hen house. Nathan invites him to the birthday dinner this Sunday, and both boys end up leaving. Now, outside, Nathan is walking with Joseph Smith's wife, Emma. The Murdoch brothers are loafing around and take this opportunity to make trouble. Joseph returns and takes care of his wife. During all of this, Lydia has come outside of the store to find out what's all the trouble about, and Nathan is upset that she sat on her hands and did
I didn't
nothing.
say anything.
Joshua witnessed the abuse as well. Later, Nathan he decides to go to the Smith home directly and talk to Joseph Smith. He needs to know more about these rumors. Joshua tells him about the angel Moroni's visit that he received 4 years ago, and that those 4 years are now up. He will be retrieving the sacred records from their hiding place in the woods next week. Now begins the great work of the restoration. Nathan shares this happy story of Joseph Smith with his mother, who again believes every word. Melissa also is a believer, but Benjamin, he is not happy. He remains very skeptical and unimpressed by these ridiculous stories and rumors. Lydia comes over to the Steed family the next day to make amends for her actions, as well as to tell Nathan that she is no longer interested in being Joshua Steed's girlfriend and is going to break up with him on the next day. Joshua, though, he plans to join the Murdoch brothers and their gang in attacking Joseph Smith for the golden plates. When Lydia learns of this, she is horrified and runs and warns the Steeds. Joshua and his friends fail in their attempt to apprehend Joseph and take the heavy bag containing the gold record. Joseph is successful in fighting them off and getting away back to his own home. Nathan, Benjamin, and Lydia, they're at the Smith residence right now. It's pouring down rain. And breathing heavily, Joseph barges in and reports his attack while his family attends to his minor injuries. The men leave to apprehend the mob while Lydia stays and talks to Joseph. She observes this family who talk of the coming work in translating the sacred record and realizes all the rumors about them are not true. Benjamin and Nathan return, and the three go their separate ways, and they find Joshua in a tavern nursing his wound and drowning his sorrow in liquor. A huge argument erupts, and Benjamin punches Joseph, who grabs a pistol and threatens to shoot his own father and brother, while Nathan pleads for them to stop. Eventually, Joshua loses his nerve and bolts.
Don't. Josh.
Now, Benjamin, he goes to talk to Martin Harris about all this, who shares his part in Joseph Smith's story. Martin Harris recently had an interesting experience in fulfilling a scriptural prophecy from Isaiah. Then he's troubled. He doesn't know what to think about all of this. He is a serious skeptic. Independence, Missouri, 1828. In leaving home to seek his fortune, Joshua ends up in all places here, the borderline between the Wild West territories and civilized America. He started up his own freight shipping business and is doing well. He's also discovered a special talent in playing cards, poker, and is currently winning enough tonight to expand his company. Meanwhile, back in New York, the Steed family reflects on the latest story about the trouble Joseph Smith recently had with a lost manuscript. Nathan is also making plans to court Lydia and set up a housekeeping on a plot of land that he's eyeing. Nathan visits Joseph to hear the entire story of the lost manuscript for himself. But Lydia is in Boston, and she is very troubled when she learns that Nathan has been baptized as a Mormon. Now, in Missouri, we meet Jessica Roundy. She's illiterate, introverted, and she's a barmaid, the daughter of the local saloon owner who has her eye on Joshua Steed. She studies at night, teaching herself to read and write so she might better impress Joshua, who often talks to her and encourages her to improve herself. Martin Harris calls on Benjamin the next day that the family is due to return. Benjamin, he is still not impressed, but Martin Harris is planning on donating a large sum of money to help Joseph publish the new Golden Bible. Martin shares his testimony of being one of the three witnesses to the Book of Mormon. Then again, he is troubled and just not sure what to think or believe. In Missouri, Joshua learns of Nathan's engagement to Lydia, and he just gets totally wasted. Unfortunately, Lydia and Nathan they break off their engagement. This is about 8 months later. Nathan continues to work on his own property and has built a small cabin for himself. Now, on their way out of town to Fayette, Nathan sends Melissa into the general store with a copy of the Book of Mormon to give to Lydia because he's driving the wagon on the way out of town. Inside the Book of Mormon is a special letter to Lydia from Nathan with his testimony of the Book of Mormon, encouraging her to read and pray over certain highlighted passages. Benjamin has grudgingly given his permission that the family might keep and read copies of the Book of Mormon that Nathan gave them. He also gave them permission to attend the special meeting on April 6th, which is the organization of the newly found Church of Christ. Now, Lydia is furious when she discovers that her father took the book that Melissa brought in for her and threw it in the dustbin. She fishes it out and reads a note that Nathan left her inside the book. Realizing he is truly sincere in his love for her, she decides to give this book a chance. Lydia has a miraculous change of heart after reading the Book of Mormon and is waiting for her fiance Nathan when he returns from Fayette. They embrace and will marry in the next movie. That's right, folks, there's going to be a sequel. This book is based on the first novel, The Work and the Glory, Pillar of Light by Gerald Lund, which is part of the 9-part series, The Work and the Glory. I've read the entire series, and I did so back in the 1990s when they were initially being released. I look forward to every single book. Now, Gerald Lund has written 57 books, including the famed The Work of the Glory series, and is arguably one of the most widely read Latter-day Saint authors with 3.5 million copies. Now, he became a general authority of the church, and before that, he worked as a seminary instructor. He also served as a stake president, a bishop, and a branch president. He was a mission president in England. Eventually, he was in the area authority and even in the second form of the 70s. This movie grossed to $3.3 million, making it third all-time in Mormon cinema. But with a budget of $7 million, this film lost almost $4 million, making it arguably the biggest flop in Mormon cinematic history. Here's your Rotten Tomatoes. Notice a huge difference between the audience score and the tomato meter. Most of the audience is faithful members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they love a movie like this. They eat it up. Critics, on the other hand, they are not much into a propaganda film, which is sadly really what this movie is all about. So there is a huge difference here. I think this is a review that really captures my sentiment as well. It's hard to imagine this movie capturing an audience outside of the Mormon community, and that proved to be very prophetic. Now, even though this movie lost millions, hey, it still spawned a couple of sequels. It was followed by The Work and the Glory, American Zion, which was released in 2005, and The Work and the Glory 3, A House Divided, which was released in 2006. Now, let me give you some closing thoughts on this. I didn't find much in this film that I really didn't expect. Joseph Smith is portrayed as a misunderstood man who's hounded by an unbelieving public. The script tries to be balanced by injecting many of the common accusations against Joseph Smith, but it just really does a poor job of offering a believable rebuttal. As is common in quasi-historical Mormon history, the faith-promoting narrative is the only side of the story that we see. The Smith family's folk magic, the occult influences, treasure digging, they're all sanitized. Everything is just a persecution. So if you're looking for a faith-promoting look at early church history, you found it in The Work of the Glory. Now, if you want to get in touch with me, my email is mormonmoviereviews@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining me to review this film. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And join us next time where we review Where No Flag Burns. So long.